I'll tell you what I'm doing. This is typically the way you configure anything to do with ArduPilot or the flight controller, and that is to plug a USB cable into the USB port on the side of the flight controller and then connect that to your computer. So let's do that. And that will come up.
Telemetry recovered.
As you can see, the flight controller came up, the receiver came up, and the safety switch and buzzer came up. Now what won't come up though, because we haven't connected power, is that the ESC won't come up and the servos won't come up. This is just for configuration purposes. Don't make that mistake too. I've done that as well. When you plug in the USB port, you think everything looks okay, do your setup, and then you think, oh, I'm going to try it now, and then nothing works, and you go, oh my goodness, what happened? Well, what you have to remember is that when you actually want the flight controller to do anything, you have to power this end of the flight controller. This end is just for basic configuration and setup. This part needs to be powered in order to get it to do anything. So what we're going to do is we're going to fire up Mission Planner, which does run on the Mac. I'm using a Mac.
Telemetry lost. Telemetry recovered.
What I like about about Mission Planner is it's typically the best way to do setup for your radio and your servos. I split between Mission Planner and QGroundControl. I find QGroundControl the best platform for me out on the field, and I find Mission Planner is great for your configuration and hardware and those kinds of things. There's some things it can do that QGroundControl just can't do. This one is one of those things where QGroundControl kind of does it, but Mission Planner does it better. And here you go. I would love to say again that I did this just to show you as a demonstration. Not true. I made a mistake. Again, it's the kind of mistake that you might make if you think you have everything ready to go and it's not working. Guess what? When I said I plugged that receiver into UART2, I didn't. And if you look on, unclip the clip and pop it out. Now if you look on here, UART1 is the one on the inside and UART2 is the one on the outside. This needs to go into UART2, and so that is now connected to the right port, and it wasn't connected to the right port before. So let's do that again. Because, just for information, the receiver can connect to the transmitter, but then there's nothing to tell you that the receiver isn't talking to the flight controller until you do something like this, okay? So now what we should find, we connect Mission Planner and go into our setup. And now, look at that. We have action. Aileron channel, or channel, which I have set up on channel 1 on my transmitter, is transmitting and being received on the flight controller on channel 1. And the elevator channel is being received on the flight controller on channel 2. And the rudder is being received on the flight controller on channel 4. So that's working great. And just, I'll show you this. I also have programmed the on the transmitter, the 6 buttons following the instructions from Playlist 360 with a custom curve in the transmitter. You can see that the channel 6
cruise flight mode, manual flight mode, auto tune enabled, auto RTL flight mode, loiter flight mode, fly by wire, 8 flight mode.
Okay, plus I have put
disarmed, disarmed,
put that. Arm is on channel 5. Oh, there we go. Arm is on channel 5. Arm is on channel 5. When I arm it, that radio channel 5 comes on, which is a thing you need for Express LRS. Arm on a channel and on a switch. And again, I'll leave that to the Express LRS videos, etc. Okay, So now let's have a look at our servo outputs. And what do we see here? We actually see, well, we see nothing right now. And the answer to that is because we don't have the safety switch switched on. Let's do that. Oh, and look at that. Press the safety switch. Here we go. Straight away, I've got outputs. And as you can see, if I move my ailerons, I get output on the aileron channel. If I move my elevator, I get outputs on the elevator channel, etc. Okay, so nothing's working. It's not moving. What's wrong with that? Back to what I said before. Everything can be configured and set up right, but unless I have power to the servo end of the flight controller, nothing's going to work. So let's do that again. And this is an interesting thing here, but you can power the flight controller off USB power, and you can then, and don't worry, I've done this a number of times before, but you can actually power that, actually put power into the power circuit, and it'll be fine. Okay, so here we go. Now we've got power to the servo rail. You just heard the ESC. That means the ESC is getting power. And what should happen now is if I do elevator, that's working. Well, you can't see it though. Okay, let me just see if I can point that camera around so you can see that.